Well, welcome everybody to the 2022 ESA special meeting. I hope that all of you are well. My name is Julio Elías, and I am one of the directors of JiLAEE. In the name of the JiLAEE team, I would like to thank you, all of you, for being here and for sharing your interest in research at this meeting. We would also like to thank to the great keynote speakers that we will have, Amia Samek, Robert Metcalfe, and John List, and our great panelists, Katia Batista, Luigi Butera, Kyle Holloway, Gary Charnes, Lice Westerlund, and Ricardo Perez Truglia. We are also thankful to ESA for have trust JiLAEE to do this ESA meeting. The Joint Initiative for Latin American Experimental Economics, JiLAEE, was created at the end of 2018 as a partnership between the University of Chicago and Universidad del UCEMA. The main objective of the initiative is to design field experiments to offer new perspectives in various areas of economic research for Latin American countries, including early childhood development, education, private provisions of public goods, social preferences, and environmental economics. We work with firms and organizations in a wide range of topics and questions. To carry out its mission of developing the area of experimental economics in Latin America, JiLAEE has embarked on a program of outreach, education, and research, offering courses, seminars, and workshops oriented to Latin American students and researchers. And of course, to now, thanks to the online technology, now to all the world. So we are very eager to develop even more workshops. And so as part of this program, on Tuesday, we had an early career workshop in experimental economics, and we are very glad that many of you participate. JiLAEE is based at UCEMA in Buenos Aires, and is an open space for research and is building a network of research and practitioners interested in Latin American issues. We also operate at the Kenneth Griffin Department of Economics of the University of Chicago under the experimental group of John List. In the meeting, we already have great sessions of papers today in the morning, and we look forward to all the presentations that we are going to have during these very busy 2 days. We have more than 170 papers in a wide range of areas, including ethical behavior, environmental economics, the economics of discrimination, gender, among others. We very much look forward to all the presentations. I hope you enjoy the conference and that these 2 days are very productive and useful for your research. So thank you again, and well, John.
Sure, Julio, thank you so much. Welcome everyone. I'm John List, and I'm a professor of economics at the University of Chicago. Before I say a few words about the papers and the sessions, I want to quickly shine some light on the folks who are really doing the work, and that's Karen, Julia, and Jared, and Carolina. 3 of you are academics. Why don't you quickly turn on your cameras and introduce yourself, Karen, Julia, and Jared, if you might. Go ahead, Karen. Yeah, you go first.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karen. I'm an assistant professor at Queen's University in Canada. I am one of the directors of JiLAEE and one of the conference organizers.
Julia, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. We're really excited to have you. I'm an assistant professor of economics at Universidad del Rosario in Bogota, Colombia, and I'm also part of the directors team at JiLAEE. Jared?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming today. I'm Jared Garz. I'm an assistant professor in food and resource economics at the University of Florida, and I'm excited that everybody came today, and we're super excited about the program that we put together, so looking forward to it.
All right, super. Thanks, team. And Carolina, and Diana, I know Carolina, first of all, has done a ton of work. So I want to thank you. I'm not sure if your camera is on. There you are. I want to thank you. It's just a knockout job. So this is a thankless job, right? You don't get to turn on your camera. You don't really know people because you're not an academic, but you're appreciated. So I want to say thank you very much, Carolina. Diana, I know you've pitched in too as the University of Chicago person. So thank you very much as well. Okay, very good. So I should first begin with an apology. I wish we were all on site in Buenos Aires. Unfortunately, it's raining there, so we have some solace that the opportunity cost isn't as great as it otherwise might be. But it's a shame, and it's a shame because scholarship is personal, and it should be personal in terms of when you're a young scholar. It's very important to network, and it's very important to meet people who you exchange ideas with, who you potentially co-author with in the future. These are things which really helped me a lot. I started my career at the University of Central Florida, which was a university that, let's say, is not at the level of most of the schools that you are from or where I went to afterwards. So it was very important for me to be able to go to shows and conferences and present my work and meet people. So concerning that, we hope that the advances for field experiments here at the University of Chicago will be live, will be on site. We also hope that next year when we do this, Julio, I think we're trying to do it live next year, right? Next February. We are going to give ESA another shot and try to do this conference live. Now, the silver lining is that it's hard to travel and travel funds are tight. So if we were live, I suspect that many of you would have never had the chance to join because you might not be able to fly to Buenos Aires. And in that regard, it's sort of a silver lining because all of you can now be part of this exchange. So it's some exchange. It's not the best exchange, but hopefully we're increasing quantity, even though quality might be down a little bit. Hopefully we make up for it in quantity, right? That's what this conference is about. So in terms of quality, as I mentioned in my email, I looked pretty carefully through the schedule, and what I really appreciated was sort of the broad take on how to use the experimental method. Of course, I'm biased a little bit toward field experiments because of my past, but the uses of the experimental method are very broad, and I get a taste of, we all begin to recognize that the empirical approach in economics, the dominant way to do things is to take naturally occurring data, model it, make certain assumptions, whether it's the conditional independence assumption, whether it's the orthogonality assumption, whether it's exclusion restrictions with IV, whether you write a structural model and you have a whole appendix of assumptions to get to your treatment effect. Those are all unique ways to measure something, as is an experiment. But we're lucky enough as the data generators to be able to go beyond AB and to explore, say, the underpinnings of why something is happening. And that's really the beautiful part of the experimental approach, because we can not only measure there's discrimination in the market, other ways can measure that too, but we can go beyond that and explore what are the underpinnings for that discrimination. You know, on the one hand, is it Becker taste-based discrimination, or is it Pagu's old third-degree price discrimination? We actually have techniques to do that. And that's the beautiful part about the experimental method. And I see papers that do that. That's wonderful. I see a lot of papers, though, that stop short of that and they end up measuring. And then I'm thinking, okay, I would love to know the mediation path, or I'd love to know something more about the moderators. or perhaps there's a little bit of causal moderation that was left on the table. Now, I bring this up because the experimental approach can not only give you an internally valid estimate, but if we want to generalize and go to distant markets, whether they're spatially or temporally removed, we should be thinking about, are the mediation paths in my target setting the same as they were in my experimental setting? Are the moderators set at the same levels in my target setting as they were in my research setting? These are all aspects that I think from the very beginning we should be thinking about and doing in our designs, because right now, frankly, we're getting beaten up. And we're getting beaten up because people are saying, cool paper, cool estimate, but there's no external validity. I see this all the time. I edit a lot of papers, and I'm currently an editor of 2 journals, the Journal of Political Economy, and we're starting a new journal, which will be announced soon, called the Journal of Political Economy Micro. And that will welcome replications, because there's a bit of anti-scientificness about our approach in terms of not being as open and welcome to replications, but that's a different story. But what I see is, I would say 9 out of 10 papers, there is either a mention in the referee report or a mention in the letter that comes to me as the editor, banging on the person because of external validity. Now, I think a lot of times that's misguided, but it's not ill-intentioned. It's intention to say, we can do more with our tool to not only create an internally valid estimate, but be more serious about an externally valid estimate. And I'll try to take some of that on in my talk on Friday. What I'm going to do is extract some insights from the voltage effect, and I'm going to talk about how we can do better designs in my talk. But before I give that talk, Anya Samik will be giving a great talk on experiments with children, which I hope all of you can attend. This is a sort of an exposure or an expansion of the enterprise to look at young children. And there are some unique aspects of experimentation with young children that we don't face in our traditional experimentation with either students or with people who ride an Uber or whatever. And Anya will talk about that. There's a Journal of Economic Literature paper attached to Anya's presentation. And I think that that's an area that, of course, because of human capital and human capital formation, we know it's going to be important on several dimensions, in particular, future labor market outcomes. Rob Metcalf will be talking about field experiments in regulated markets. And Rob just has a wealth of experience in terms of working with organizations, and in particular, working with firms. So I think that particular paper will bring out some of his learnings, and that's a nice complement to what happens at JiLAEE. Jared is in charge of external partnerships, and one goal we have is to connect not only JiLAEE with outside entities. When I say an outside entity, I mean an organization that can help us run a field experiment. Rob has a lot of experience in that, and we're open to all of you visiting JiLAEE, working with us. I just got a nice email from Britt Grosskopf that Britt wants to come down to Buenos Aires and visit for half a year. It's not a bad place to visit either, from what my people tell me. I've only been there once or twice, but beautiful place to spend a long period of time. So we want to say that our arms are open. This is a Latin American-based field experiment camp, but of course we want to work on anything that speaks to economics and the economic science and how we can use economics to change the world, even though our emphasis is on Latin America. Okay, so I am at the buzzer. So I want to say thank you all for joining. I look forward to seeing a bunch of you in the sessions. I'll be going in and out. My apologies. My own book launch was very ill-timed. It was just launched on Tuesday, so I've been giving a ton of book talks. And when all of you write your popular book, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So I will not be as active as I otherwise might, but I will be bopping in and out, okay? So everyone have a great conference. I want to thank again the team, best team that money can buy, even though we don't have any money, so we don't pay them. But in this case, you get much more than you pay for. Okay, so thanks a lot, team. Julio, excellent job. Thank you so much, my friend, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the sessions.